using recent census data in planning, retaining a community's essence as it grows, and composting made easy. All that and the latest news coming up next on Montgomery Plans. Thanks for watching Montgomery Plans. I'm Michael Brown. We're here to bring you up to date on important land use issues facing those who live and work in Montgomery County. Today's show looks at how recent census findings will influence future planning. Next, we'll learn how plans for the community of Chevy Chase Lake will preserve its small town charm. And we'll introduce you to the Compost Crew, a group of enterprising recent college grads who created their own green jobs. But first, let's go to the top news-making decisions of the Montgomery County Planning Board.
Welcome to Plans in the News. I'm Susan Kennedy. Bus rapid transit combines the flexibility of buses with the efficiency of rails, and it's the latest idea to ease congestion. The county's master plan of highways will be amended to build a county-wide bus rapid transit system, and planners are taking a close look at exactly how and where this network will build out. Bus rapid transit is designed to provide commuters with many of the benefits of light rail, but at a lower cost. BRT has dedicated rights-of-way, fast passenger boarding, and high-quality vehicles. In September, the Planning Board reviewed and approved the scope of work for a study that evaluates the feasibility of this transit network.
We talked over with them just the general basis of how we got to this point, but then also what's the purpose of bus rapid transit? It's more than just getting a faster bus. It's getting the whole concept of a new transportation system to get a series of routes that work together on mostly state highways. The highest volume corridors we have are state highways, and it's an integrated system that works with some branded vehicles, some very high profile vehicles, level platforms so that people can get onto and off the buses the quickest way possible, and also off-board fare collection so that they don't have to spend time digging out change when they get to the bus driver.
The plan includes 16 routes over 150 miles proposed by a recently completed countywide bus rapid transit study. Some of these include Rockville Pike, US 29, and Maryland 97. In the scope of work, planners also will look to identify where travel lanes could be repurposed or additional right-of-way acquired to accommodate BRT. Is this something that we could actually see happening over the next couple of decades?
It could. I mean, the idea is that bus rapid transit is much more flexible than, say, a rail system like Purple Line, so that you could actually implement it in pieces. It's best if it works together as a network, and if it's conceived as a network and that you're building towards that network, it can work.
Throughout this year-long effort, planners will hold public meetings to present draft recommendations and hear what residents think. Planners will be back before the Planning Board next summer.
As part of our next milestone, which is on December 15th, we'll be coming to the Planning Board with our initial findings and a methodology for making the determination on which treatment to provide on each road. That's really when we come to a recommendation point on how to move forward. And then after that point, the first part of next year, we'll be using that methodology, which will have gone through the Planning Board, and then also the County Council in January. We'll be using that to decide which treatment needs to be applied on which routes and what the preferred master plan right-of-way will be.
If you were in downtown Silver Spring recently, you might have noticed something interesting happening along here on Ellsworth Avenue. Folks from the planning department converted these parking spaces along here into educational displays. It was all part of International Parking Day. International Parking Day began 6 years ago as an idea to temporarily transform parking spaces into parkland.
So now it's gone from converting the parking space into a park to converting the parking space into an engaging opportunity to work with the community. and to become an interactive experience.
Last year, 180 cities in 30 countries participated. This year, the planning department decided to organize an event locally. Their goal, to raise awareness about how urban areas can improve and to explore how that might be done.
If we were to extract or narrow the streets down, perhaps the street could be utilized in a different way where we're engaging the community. This is what we like, when people of the community come out and they can experience things that they otherwise would not be a participant in. So it could be an area, a space that could be fun, that could be interactive. And so the idea for Parking Day is to show and to demonstrate other ways in which we could utilize the space. And for us, for the Maryland National Capital Park and Planning Commission, we're showing what a complete street is. So the right-of-way can be utilized in many different ways instead of just utilizing it for vehicle mobility. Let me show you a little bit about what a complete street is.
The planning department presented its idea of a complete streets concept, given that their afternoon on a downtown block provided a visual backdrop. A complete street provides safe areas for folks on foot or bike.
Usually on a complete street there may be bicycle lanes, separate bicycle lanes.
It also features environmental tools to stave off the effects of stormwater runoff and an inviting appearance.
And we're trying to demonstrate that right here.
The planning department was joined on Ellsworth Avenue by the Congress for New Urbanism and local businesses like Pyramid Atlantic, the Green Commuter, a company that sells and promotes commuter bikes, and Growing Soul, SOUL being an acronym for Sustainable Opportunities for Universal Learning.
She's demonstrating today how to utilize chipotle oil, their waste product from their cooking, and utilize that to convert that into fuel that she can then use to power her truck that she drives around the community.
The planning department is hoping events like International Parking Day will change the way people think, one space at a time. I'm Susan Kennedy for Plans in the News.
Welcome back. The 2010 census data is in, and here in Montgomery County, things have changed over the last decade. As a group, we are more diverse, we are aging, and our children are living at home longer. Census information like this is vital to planning the county's future. Here's Valerie Burton with more.
Demographic data released so far from the 2010 census identifies significant changes to Montgomery County's population. Planners analyze this data to better understand community needs as the county changes from decade to decade. Recent analyses have revealed economic, social, and demographic trends that have implications for future planning. Meet Brenda Gouzet. 11 years ago, Brenda and her husband decided to downsize to a condo.
We lived in a 4,000 square foot house, and it was pretty big to take care of, and had a yard and all the rest of it. And at that point, my kids had graduated from high school, and we were getting to an age that we thought maybe we should think about a smaller space and something that would be easier to take care of. And so we started looking at condos because we wanted one level living and no maintenance on the outside.
The Gouzets ended up in the King Farm neighborhood of Rockville. They chose this mixed-use community because it was a place where they could walk to many things.
It's very convenient because I live here and I work here. My office is 3 blocks down the street, so I just walk to work. Hi, come on in. I walk to the grocery store. I have walked to the doctor downstairs. I really don't have to depend on a car.
Brenda and her husband are part of a growing group that is expected to make some living adjustments in the coming years. Planning Director Roland Stanley says Montgomery County needs to prepare.
This year and next will be the year where the whole baby boomer now is over the age of 65. The implications are tremendous. We have in this county, it's about 73% of seniors own their own homes. So over the next 20 to 30 years, we're going to see a major turnover in the single-family housing market. We've got to provide opportunities for the people that might want to downsize and move into those kinds of opportunities. And downtown Silver Spring is a good example where we've had a lot of condominiums constructed. That market will grow. So what we're going to see over the next 30 years is fewer and fewer single-family homes being built, and more of that housing market share to actually be in condominiums or multi-unit living.
Affordability and convenience is becoming increasingly important to our residents. With a total population of close to 1 million, Montgomery is Maryland's most populous county. In the Washington, D.C. region, it ranks second behind Fairfax County, Virginia. Since the last census, median incomes have declined, and the number of households in poverty has increased. Another significant shift is 36% more adult children are living at home with their parents. Alyssa Strand is one of them. She is a lucky recent graduate who landed a good starter job. Even though her salary is adequate and she works a second job on the weekends, she can't afford to live on her own. So she returned to her parents' home to make ends meet.
So to come back is really weird, and I really don't think I was going to at all, ever. It just kind of stinks, because even though they realize that you're an adult and they want you to be able to be your own person, they're still your parents. That's me, my mom, my dad. And living with them just makes it difficult. I guess you're almost mad at yourself for having to be at home after college, because you think by 23 years old, you'll be out doing your own thing. Definitely won't be living at home.
Alyssa hopes to move out soon. She'll have to have a roommate, and they will have to choose their living space carefully.
Oh, it would be so great to be in a place that had, like, I could walk to grocery stores and restaurants, bars. But it's really important to us to be in a safe community, because we're two girls looking for an apartment on our own, and we don't want to be somewhere where we don't feel safe, which already ups the price of an apartment. So to add in the conveniences of being really close to Metro or being really close to restaurants and shopping is just too much. So we had to kind of pick either safety or convenience.
Roland Stanley says that, like the baby boom generation, Alyssa's generation will benefit by expanding this county's multi-unit housing options.
We're seeing that the graduates are waiting a lot longer to buy homes. We're about the highest peak we have been for about 100 years, and the average home age of first-time buyers pushing 34 years old. These are the kids who are going to want to rent or buy smaller units. Smaller units are more affordable than the housing. They're waiting longer to marry. They're waiting longer to have kids. They're going to be living in condominiums and rental apartment. And rental market is really where the market is for the next 10 years in America. And that's good. We need that diversity in the marketplace.
Last year, according to the census, Montgomery became a majority-minority county. More than 50% of our population is comprised of minorities. In fact, the reason the county grew at all over the last 10 years is due to the growth within the non-white population. Stanley says this is an invaluable asset.
We're in a hotbed of it, probably one of the most diverse places in America, really, downtown Silver Spring, especially on a Saturday night. But here we are at 1 o'clock on a weekday afternoon, and you see a lot of different people moving about, patronizing businesses. You go across the street here to the chicken place, etc., and the Ethiopian restaurant, you start to see businesses. And what we found, the data as recently as 2007, shows that the largest increases in new businesses in this county are through minorities.
We've got everything we need now.
Hector Ayu owns a small independent pharmacy in downtown Silver Spring. Trained as a microbiologist in his native Nigeria, he came to this country and obtained both an MBA and a pharmacist's degree.
This is my dream that I want to do, to be able to serve the community and to be able to provide excellent service as opposed to what we were used to in chain drugstores.
Here, I know the pharmacist's name, Hector. He knows my name.
So how many people do you employ?
Oh, about 3, 4, mostly part-time and all that, yeah. We cannot do without the help. As the volume increases, there will still be need for more. So I started with 1, and now we're having about 2, 3 now. So I hope to improve more with more scripts coming in.
Yeah, he definitely needs to be seen, and he needs to be seen really soon.
Gauri Krishna also owns a small business in Silver Spring.
My parents are Indian. I was born in Kenya. I came to the United States when I was 9 years old. I always wanted to be a veterinarian. There was never any question about that. He's a good boy. I graduated from vet school in 1991. And I was in practice for several years before I brought this practice 12 years ago. I worked for other people. I knew by the time that I was getting to that end stage, I did not want to work for other people. I wanted my own practice. This practice came up for sale, which is unusual in Montgomery County, so I took the option of taking a little bit of a risk and going ahead and purchasing it. Thank you. Bye-bye.
How many people work for you?
We have 8 people. 8 people working here. And 3, 4 have been here for more than 4 or 5 years, but I've got a great staff.
And besides supplying jobs, there's another benefit.
The minority businesses are tending to locate also where those folks are living. So that means we're getting new services and employment opportunities close to where people are living, so it's shortening the commute time. It helps with that jobs housing ratio. And overall, that's where we want to get to. We want to shorten those commutes for folks because it reduces their transportation costs, enables them to have more disposable income for housing and education, those sorts of things.
A shift in population requires a shift in how we think about our housing, transportation, and the creation and location of jobs. Places attractive to new people, be they immigrants or people moving to Montgomery County from other U.S. cities, are the places that will prosper. Census trends reinforce the need to provide a diversity of housing and transportation options, as well as mixed uses in strategic areas, particularly those near transit.
I'd like to see more of this kind of neighborhood because I do think people would benefit from not having to drive or depend on a car so much. It gives them more time to spend with their family, more time to focus on their work. They're less stressed. In some ways, it's less expensive. You've got all ages, young through old, so it keeps you young. It keeps you healthy.
2 outs with a runner on first base. Now the big guy comes up to bat, hitting .342 with 92 RBIs and 36 homers. The first pitch is fouled between the back.
Chill raw and prepared foods promptly. 1 in 6 Americans will get sick from food poisoning this year. Keep your family safer. Check your steps at foodsafety.gov.
In today's Around Town, Elza Heisel McCoy and Susan Kennedy toured Chevy Chase Lake as work continues on a new sector plan for this community along Connecticut Avenue near the district line.
I'm here with planner Elza Heisel McCoy in the Chevy Chase Lake neighborhood where there is currently a sector plan that's underway at the planning board. Tell us what the vision is with this plan.
The vision for the Chevy Chase Lake sector plan is to take a beautiful neighborhood, take a great place to live, and make it a little bit better by adding choices of places to go and places to live. There are a lot of different types of housing in Chevy Chase Lake. We have garden apartments, we have townhouses, but we also have single-family homes. Chevy Chase Lake developed as a neighborhood over 100 years ago. The streetcar line for Connecticut Avenue ended here. There was an amusement park. There was a lake that was used to cool the power station where folks from the district would come up and row on the lake. And so there's a lot of history. There's an established character here. And one of the things the sector plan is going to look at is taking the great diversity of housing, which includes affordable housing, market rate housing that's affordable for the area, and to make it easier to provide additional housing for folks to live here.
So you want to make it more balanced. You've got all types of folks living here. You have some folks who might be a little bit older, some folks who might be a little bit younger. We want to make sure that this plan meets the needs of everybody.
The average age of the folks in Chevy Chase Lake is a little bit higher than the county average. And when, we spend a lot of time getting out into the community and talking to folks and understanding from their perspective what they really like about their community, what we should preserve, what could be a little bit better, and if there's something new, what could we do? And the community character was very essential in terms of the homes and the feel, this beautiful tree-lined street. But then there were also folks who were concerned that their children, when their children get out of college, when their children come look for a job, that they wouldn't be able to afford to live here. And so by providing more opportunities for housing here, I think it helps provide opportunities for new folks to come and live here.
Okay, let's take a walk now up to the corner of Connecticut and Manor Road and talk a little bit about the iconic Chevy Chase Shopping Center and talk a little bit about what might be planned for this area.
This supermarket is a beloved place, and we've heard throughout all of our outreach that everybody loves the supermarket and wants that to be here. In the short term, we're looking at trying to provide a little bit more housing options and a little bit more retail. There's a great mix. There's the dry cleaner, there's a hair salon. We're looking to keep that mix, but to provide some housing opportunities as well by putting mixed use on top. So we could have the supermarket, we can have the stores and restaurants, but the people could live above it. By providing additional housing here above the supermarket, that provides folks even more choice in terms of where they can live in the community. In the longer term, when the Purple Line comes to Chevy Chase Lake, there may be other opportunities to provide additional housing and additional shops. But again, we're trying to keep the balance between the character of the larger community, the character of the shopping center. It's a very nice shopping center, and those opportunities for more shops for more folks to live here.
Let's walk over to another part of the neighborhood now where the plan is working to preserve the environment.
That sounds great.
Elza, we're just a block off of Connecticut Avenue in another part of Chevy Chase Lake. You wouldn't even know it because it's nice and quiet back here. What will the plan provide for the folks who live around here?
Well, this area over here is Cokeland Run. It's a tributary of Rock Creek. It connects down to the park, and this is one of the great natural features of Chevy Chase Lake. This stream valley connects from Bethesda down to Rock Creek Park, and it's a beautiful public amenity. You'd never know it's here. One of the things that the plan is going to focus on is providing the community with more opportunities for public open space, for places for the community to play, and to make it easier to get around in the community to these open spaces and to make better use of amenities like Cokeland Run.
Elza, let's walk back up to Connecticut Avenue and talk a little bit about how the plan might help people get around.
Sounds good.
Here we are in Connecticut Avenue. We know it's a heavily traveled road with lots of pedestrians using the sidewalks and the bike paths. How might the plan help these folks get around?
The plan is looking at a variety of ways to make it easier for folks to get around the community. Right now, if folks want to come down to the shopping center or to some of the other places, they have to walk out to Connecticut Avenue. The plan is looking at a couple of different ways. There are transit solutions. We're looking at roadway solutions, but then also additional bike paths, sidewalks, and nature trails to really give folks a better choice of routes to get to where they want to go.
Thanks for the great tour of Chevy Chase Lake, Elza.
It's been a pleasure.
That's it for this edition of Around Town. We'll be back again next time, maybe in your neighborhood.
Composting organic matter is a way to keep nearly a third of our trash out of the landfill. Grass clippings, food scraps, coffee grounds, even some paper will decompose naturally, resulting in a rich, reusable organic matter for gardens. But not everyone has the time or the space to do backyard composting. That's where the compost crew comes in. Ryan Walter, Brian Flores, and Stefan Grundman met in elementary school.
Well, at the beginning, we didn't really like each other. It took 2 years. I was faster than him, which was pretty much.
I admit it now.
But we got over it, and we've all been great friends.
They did get over it. More than a decade later, they formed a company called the Compost Crew. The Crew is an at-home compost pickup service that turns waste into rich soil.
Our customers are very into the green movement, and they're very motivated to make a difference. A lot of people want to compost, and it's just something that they don't have the time or energy to do.
I think makes sense to do the scraps that they go part to the earth, and I'm a gardener, so I know the value of composting. I really like this idea because it is a lot of work.
For the average person, the benefits are more of a collective benefit. We're taking organic waste out of landfills, we're reducing greenhouse gas emissions. And then the flip side of it, if compost is used on agricultural fields and other gardens, it's just a organic, natural way to just have better produce without the need of chemicals.
This crew has diverted thousands of pounds of waste from landfills, and the process is simple. Their clients are given a bin.
Our bins are standard 9mm thick bins, and they actually are recycled from a pickle vendor we met at the Bethesda Central Farmers Market.
They pick up waste from restaurants, houses, and apartments.
The average person doesn't have this amount of room, doesn't have this amount of time, and so the idea was really designed for apartment or condominium people who just don't have that kind of land in their backyard or don't want to put their food scraps in their backyard. So we really think our service is tailored to that kind of customer.
When the bin is filled to the brim, the crew comes out, takes out the bag, cleans the bin, and off they go to a partner farm.
And let the professionals handle the rest. They do all the composting for us. After 6 months, our customers can request a portion of the weight back in the form of high-grade compost.
These compostable plastic bags and their contents are at the mercy of microorganisms.
When you compost, it's breaking down aerobically. Instead of releasing methane into the air, it's turning into a valuable soil amendment, and it's completely environmentally friendly.
The Compost Crew isn't picky about their food, but they won't take meat, dairy products, or oils.
Let me show everyone what we actually can compost. So in here we have fruit peels, an apple core, eggshells, moldy bread once your bread goes bad, or if your kids don't like crust, coffee grounds, as well as the filter. Also, you can put tea bags, and you can do rice and other grains.
We can compost cardboard and other paper products. We prefer to have them with as little ink as possible.
And it just takes maybe a week or two to get used to a routine, find what works for you, how you do the composting, and you know, so that's it. And you can see the perfect compost you get out of it, and I'm excited about that too.
Ryan Walter and his crew are excited about what this waste management for the 21st century can mean.
If we were to compost all of the 1/3 of our solid waste stream that the EPA estimates we could compost, that would be the equivalent of 7.8 million cars worth of methane gas off the road.
In these economic troubled times, these three friends are hoping the public can't bite off more than it can chew.
It really is top of the line soil, and you know, there's a sense of pride, of course, of, you know, your trash being put in your own garden to grow.
Visit our website at montgomeryplanning.org for complete, up-to-date planning information in Montgomery County. There, you'll find ways to access the Planning Department's many services. You can check out our blogs, see what's going on, submit feedback, and follow us on Facebook. Well, that does it for this edition of Montgomery Plans. Join us again next time when we bring you more on the issues that affect quality of life here in Montgomery County. I'm Michael Brown. Thanks for watching.